recording.
Okay. Hello, Libby. How are you this afternoon? It's almost 12 already. Or it is 12.
Yeah, I'm doing great. 12 came really quickly. I feel like I just woke up.
How are you doing with everything going on right now?
So I've been doing pretty good. A little stressed about, getting the coronavirus, and pretty stressed about school. Since it's finals, I'm kind of worried about getting everything done. I don't know if I can. I kind of put off doing a pretty big paper that's due tomorrow for one of my humanities classes, but it's just about my ideal society, so I think it'll be kind of easy. Because we're just writing about what we would do if we were governors and stuff like that. So it's kind of an opinion paper, which are a lot easier for me than research papers and stuff. Usually I can't do a research paper in a day, but I feel like I could do an opinion paper in a day.
You got this. You'll do good.
Thank you. It's nothing I haven't done before.
I know, and I mean, I think there's not much we can do. We can't really control what's going on right now, so we're trying our best.
Definitely. I think that's what's most important is we're trying, putting in effort, and yeah, just doing the best we can. I think people are being understanding, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's due at midnight tomorrow, so I have all day to work on it.
That's good. Yeah, that's a lot. Good time to work on it. You'll finish it. I know you will.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Okay. So I will go over how the interview is going to go. Once again, I am a mandatory reporter, so everything you tell me is going to be between me, you, and my professor, unless you tell me that you're going to have yourself, somebody else, or if you have any other intentions that I might need to report, then I will. If I don't report it, then my professor will, since she will be watching the video. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's okay. That sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to do an interview about, it doesn't have to be 35 minutes, but we're trying to keep it at 35 minutes. We're going to take a break towards the end, just so that we can come back and, do the closing and make sure that we got everything that we needed during the interview, okay?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay, so what brings you in today?
So I was hoping to see a social worker for the fact that sometimes I struggle with going to bed at a responsible hour, even when I have activities the next day that require me waking up early. I sometimes struggle with winding down at night. For example, if I have class at 8 a.m. the next day, I'll tell myself throughout the day that I have to go to bed at least by 11. And then I always just find myself breaking that, and I can never seem to hold myself to that. Sometimes I'll be able to get enough sleep, but that's usually only when I have either nothing the next day or I'm able to wake up late. Because if I can wake up at 10, then I usually get enough sleep. But if I have to wake up any earlier than that, I most likely won't be getting enough sleep. So that's my main thing that I want to work on.
Do you find this, that you were struggling with this, every day? Is it really common? Is this something that you think you're constantly struggling with, or once in a while?
I think it's only really bad once in a while. Most of the time I'll be in bed by 1, but then maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks I won't be in bed till 3 or 4, and then that's when it's really bad. So I think in general it's not horrible. I'm able to kind of function, especially since with COVID I've been at home only and I haven't really been needing to wake up for things. So that's actually been helping, but I know it's not fixing the problem. It's just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it, sort of. But I would say it's only really bad maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Okay, but you do feel like you experience this, at least once a week, every week.
Yeah, I mean, I experience it in general most of the time, where I'm like, tonight's the night, I'm gonna go to bed on time. And then it never seems to be. Like, for some reason, I always just find myself not being able to wind down sometimes.
Do you think it's because you're stressed, or would you connect it to anything else? Have you always had this problem of like not going to bed?
I mean, I've always kind of been like a night owl. In high school, it was worse than now, actually. Like, in high school, I would go to bed at like 2 a.m. and wake up at like 6 a.m. And now for me, like, a bad night would be going to bed at like 3 and waking up at like 8. Like, that would be a really bad night. But that only happens, like I said, like, that probably only happens like once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it's actually better than before, because I think I know the value of sleep now. Back then I didn't care. Like, if I was tired, I would just have coffee. Now I like to listen to my body more, but I will say I'm definitely not perfect, and I still have that, like, I think I like to, like, have time to myself at night, and I think that's what it comes down to. Like, I've talked about this with other people before, where it's like, I want to get to sleep, and I know it's what's best for me in the long run, but whenever I'm actually in my room getting ready to go to sleep, it's like the first time throughout the day that I actually have time to myself. And so I think that, like, that usually just, like, is what stops me from winding down, because, like, you know, when I get back home at like 10 p.m., like after hanging out with friends or like doing work or school, like the very first time I have to myself is when I get home that late at night. And then, like, to me, it's like I always just make the decision that it's worth it to, like, watch TV or play my guitar or, like, do something that I enjoy by myself. And I just always find myself, like, prioritizing that over actual sleep. I think that's, like, where the root of it comes from.
So, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing is you actually use the time for yourself. That time that, you know, when you decide to go to bed, but then you get the feeling like, oh, maybe I should do something for myself. It's like you're used.
Sorry, you cut out. I wasn't able to hear that last bit. What'd you say? All I heard was you take that time for yourself, like, and decide to do that.
It's kind of like you're, you know, at the same time, of course, missing sleep is not good, but you're kind of using it as your benefit as well.
Yeah. I think, like, I do know how important self-care is, and so I like to prioritize it, but at the same time, I question, is it really self-care if it's keeping me up at night and helping me not get sleep? Because sleep is also self-care, but I don't know, for me, like, I like being awake, like, I like being present. I'm not really the type to sleep all the time, and, like, I prioritize a lot of stuff over sleep, probably, and so I think I might need to work on realizing sleep is also self-care, or I need to work on finding a better time to do that self-care versus, like, at night.
Yeah. Do you feel any guilt by choosing to do other things rather than sleep?
I don't really feel guilt because I kind of see it as, like, it's not harming anyone except for me. I mean, because, like, the only person it's really affecting is, like, just the fact that I'll be tired tomorrow. So I don't usually feel guilty because of that. I'm usually just kind of like, oh, great, this is going to be fun tomorrow. Like, it's usually more just, like, regret, kind of, where it's like, if I had just slept last night, I would have felt so much better today. I also think I put myself in kind of, like, a vicious cycle with sleep, because your body actually gets used to falling asleep at a certain time. And then it makes it even harder. And, yeah, I don't think I've gone to bed before midnight in a really long time.
Okay. You know, sometimes we want the best for ourselves, and we like you're saying, you don't feel guilty because you're also using your time for yourself, which makes sense because throughout the day we're so busy with school, work, connecting with friends, connecting with family. It is important that we keep in mind what's gonna benefit us at the end of the day. Because reality is, if we can really, sleep a good amount of time, and it doesn't have, I know a lot of people say like 8 to 10 hours or something like that. But everybody's it's a little bit different. For me, if I sleep a good 6 hours every day without waking up in the middle of the night, I get up and I have the energy. So I think it's just realizing like, okay, maybe I don't have to go to bed at 9 or 10, but probably start going backwards. Like if I'm going to bed at 1, then at 12 the next day. So realizing that you don't necessarily have to go to bed at 8 at night, because that's silly.
Yeah, that would be like impossible for me. Yes.
What do you think would, like, if you could wake up the next day and say, hey, this is the perfect morning that I have had so far, what would that look like for you? What would it take for it to be a good thing?
So I would say like a good morning for me would be one where I got home early enough the night before so that I was able to start self-care at like 7 or 8 p.m. so that I could be in bed by like 11. But a lot of times in the moment, I'll kind of, not prioritize getting home at 8. Like, I'll say I'm out with friends. Like, I would rather spend like an extra few hours with my friends, like in the moment making the decision. And then when I get home, I like regret it. But like, I think in a perfect world, I would have gotten home at like 7 or 8 p.m. the night before so that I started to like, wind down earlier so that I can still have my like a couple hours of self-care before I go to bed. And then I would have woken up like having gone to bed at like 11, waking up at like 9 or something. That would be like perfect.
That would be perfect for you. What do you think would be your goal towards going to bed at a certain hour, or is it getting like a certain hour of sleep throughout the night?
Usually, like, it's kind of a lot. When you said 6 hours, I was like, usually perfect for me is like 8 or 9. Like, I love getting a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
So,
which makes sense, because our bodies function differently. Like, if I sleep throughout the night, I can literally get up at 6 and get everything done. But I have to have had at least 6 hours of sleep. So it's like, being able to realize what your body needs, and you know that you need your 8 hours of sleep to be able to function throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important, to be able to realize, like you said, listening to your body and listening to what your body's telling you. Your body's telling you that you need the 8 hours for yourself. And that's good that you actually know that you realize how important it is for your body to get those 8 hours.
Yeah, that is big. Like, I think, like, it's a certain cutoff, too. Like, 8 hours is perfect, but 7 hours, in my opinion, isn't that bad. Like, I would be fine. 6 hours is, like, pushing it. If I get 5 or less, I would die. I would, like, that would suck. Like, I've gotten that before, but the next day, I just, like, don't feel like myself. So,
yeah.
I agree with you. I need at least 5 or 6, but ideally, it's, like, 8. Like, and that's what I want to do for myself, because sleep is good for you. And you need all that time to go through REM and all that. So,
what do you think would be one step that you could take to start? Not to, change everything all at once, because we want to do things slowly, but what do you think is that one step that could change the whole picture for you?
I think setting, not necessarily bedtimes, but like setting times that I have to be home at when I have to wake up early the next day. So like looking at my schedule and like identifying the days that I have to wake up early the next day. Like say I have to wake up at least by 9 the next day. And then on those days, the night before, not setting myself a bedtime because that's what I struggle with, like falling asleep at a certain time. Like I don't like having the pressure, I think makes it harder. But if I had like a going home time, like a curfew for myself, when I had to be home, like Libby, you have to be home by 8 tonight so that you have time to unwind and go to bed so that you can wake up tomorrow, instead of me being like, Libby, you have to be in bed by 10. Like that would not really be helpful, I don't think, for me, but I think being like, Libby, you have to be home by 8, that would be more helpful. So
so being able to or work your mind into it instead of just pushing it and say, hey, you have to go to sleep. But instead of pushing it and saying, hey, you have to, it's more of a, this is what I need to be able to function good.
Yeah, because deadlines like scare me a lot, and so like being like, you have to be asleep by 10, and like if I go and lay down at like 9:30 and close my eyes, like
you won't fall
there's
asleep,
like a mental block. Like I don't know, if I'm tired enough it'll be fine, but for me, like I don't know, sometimes I can't sleep. It's weird. I think like I need to have that unwinding time to fall asleep. So I think a good goal would be setting, like looking through my schedule at the beginning of the week and deciding what days I like need to like go to sleep, or I need to be home and go to sleep. Would be a good goal.
Good. Do you ever find yourself laying in bed and not being able to sleep, or is it that you're doing something else?
Usually, I will be laying in bed not able to sleep sometimes, but very rarely, like maybe once a month. Because if I'm not, I can tell, like, when my body is ready for sleep. Like, I'll be tired, or I'll be laying down, like, on my phone or something, and if I notice myself, like, wanting to close my eyes, like, that's when I know that I'm, like, ready to go to bed. But if I'm not feeling that, then I won't be, like, going to go lay in bed because I know it'll be kind of pointless. So if I'm, like, say it's, like, 9 and I'm not tired, I'll, like, start doing a project, start watching a movie, start, like, cleaning my room, organizing, doing stuff that helps make me feel good, until I'm tired. Because, like, I have my own room, so I can stay up, like, as much as I want. So, like, if I'm not going to be successful if I lay down and try to fall asleep, then I'll probably just be doing something else.
Makes sense. I think you have a clear understanding of your need, and it's just a matter of putting it into action. But I think you do have a good understanding, that I do need at least 8 hours to sleep because my body tells me, I will be able to function with you if we rest for 8 hours. So I think that's very important, and that's something that not a lot of people have. A lot of people don't realize that their body is telling them, hey, I need a break, or hey, I really need us to go to bed now. Sometimes we tend to ignore what happens throughout the day with our body, or if our body is telling us, hey, can we take a 5-minute break, or could we just lay down for 5 minutes and I'll work with you throughout the week or throughout the night,
Yeah.
So I think it is very important to keep on listening, and you're doing a really good job at listening to your body, and that is a good skill to have, because a lot of the times if we don't understand our bodies, then how are we going to communicate, and how are we going to learn what we don't need?
It's a good point.
I'm going to take a 10 or 5-minute break to kind of bring all the thoughts together and try to go over, what we could have worked on throughout this sessions.
Okay, that works for me. Yeah, feel free to take your break. I put the phone to the side so I'm not recording you.
That's fine. I don't know how long it has been. I always feel like
it's been 20 minutes and 21 seconds.
Oh, okay, so that's not
perfect.
Bad. Mm-hmm. Because the screen doesn't tell me.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue doing my makeup. But it is still recording, so Hugh will hear all of this. Look how washed out I am.
I haven't done my makeup in so long.
Yeah, I haven't done my makeup in a minute either. I think it's been a few days, but I love makeup, so.
I think it's been like a good 15 to 20 days.
Really? Oh my gosh, your skin is probably so happy.
It's been a long time. And I was going to yesterday because my boyfriend came over. But then I ended up forgetting. I was like, I forgot.
That is okay. You don't need makeup. You're beautiful as you are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So the video keeps not sending.
Will it upload, at least?
I'm going to try to upload it on YouTube. And I'll probably just send you the link if it doesn't want to upload. Okay, I'm uploading it. Hopefully it works. have so many messages.
Okay. We're at like 25 minutes now.
Okay. We'll start in a little bit.
I was gonna do like green makeup today because of the holiday. But I don't know if I have time to do that.
When do you go back home, this week?
Yeah, this week. I mean, I have to be back out by Friday, by the latest, but I might try to go earlier. I kind of want to like get out because it's like packing is like stressful, and like all my room is like all packed up, and I like want to like unpack because all my stuff is like tucked away, and it's kind of annoying.
You only moved for a few months, right?
What? Yeah, just for the summer. Well, it's actually kind of a long time. It's for 4 months because I don't go back to PSU until September 24th, which is after my birthday. So I'm going to have my birthday at home. Everything. Like, I'm not going to have my new school friends at my party, which is sad. One of my eyeshadows is missing. Why? Why? How am I supposed to complete my look?
Okay, we can get started.
Alright. So.
Okay.
Filming again.
Okay, so I see that you're already working towards your goal, and that's really good. So I think we're just going to kind of go over some new things that you could give it a try before our next meeting tomorrow or the next few weeks. If, we don't reopen the schedule to the usual. So I think one thing to keep in mind is keep listening to your body, keep attending to your body's needs. I think that's very important, and you're doing a really good job at knowing, hey, my body needs the 8 hours to sleep, so I'm going to take the time to do the 8 hours to sleep. Another thing would be not setting like a time, I need to be bed by this time, but kind of, working towards it. If, not right now you're going to bed at 1, maybe trying to go to bed at 12. Once, one day a week. That could help you, create a habit, because I think our body tends to fall into habits. So after falling asleep at 3 or 1 in the morning,